Well, good evening and welcome to the program once again. My name is Emmanuel Ouma and I am privileged here to host Mr. Oduor, a political analyst. Mr. Mwalimu, karibu sana.
How are you, my brother?
I am fine. How about you?
Nani anapinga wewe hii nchi?
Nobody can. Great. Nobody can try.
Great. Mbele pamoja.
Sindio? Mwalimu, today,
yes,
a member of parliament of the ndindi is a member of parliament in this country. He was in a podium and talked about the Rironimo Summit Road. I think we can have a listen at that and then we see what he said so that we can you can respond.
What I saw something, but I didn't watch it. But let's see.
When I talk about roads, it's not about politics. It's about the economy. You have the road we are dwelling called Rironimo Summit is a corridor road. It's going to another country and another and another. So you come and realize only the part of Kenya is being told. As it is now as we talk, is only the part of Kenya. What are we telling investors really? We're just telling investors, look for alternatives. We are a premium economy. A premium economy growing at 4.9%. We are a premium economy. You look for, if you don't want to pay toll, get elsewhere. Friends, we have not reached there as an economy. We need everyone. We need all this capital to flow in. So my take has always been, Rironimo Summit Road is being used by Kenyans who pay PAE, who pay VAT, who pay fuel levy. Fuel levy is supposed to build roads. So they are already taxed enough to build an infrastructure.
Wow.
Yeah, what's your take on that one?
If there is something that we can classically call double standards, it is this one. This is a beautiful and a classic example of double standards. We have a road here called the expressway, which is mounted on that very corridor, which investors, as Ndindi puts it, use. It's a road that comes from Mombasa all the way to beyond and probably up to Congo. And we pay the toll, and we are the same Kenyans. He says pay as you earn, pay VAT, pay road levy. What did he say about it? Number two, the Ndindi group started by resisting the construction of that road. Then they said the president is lying, he will not build it. Then when the president has started building it, now they say it should not be tolled because Kenyans pay as you earn, VAT and all that. But remember, in that same sentence, he also earlier said that road is being used by other people other than Kenyans, but it's only the Kenyan section being tolled. So that is where he has the problem. Let me tell Ndindi, those foreigners will have the option of not using the main highway. There will be side roads they can use, which will be the same size as the one we are replacing, but will have the advantage of one way. I want to tell Ndindi, he is the same person who once told us that he saw a bus written Nyalenda High School that had brought people from Kisumu to a rally in Nairobi. He said he saw a bus written Kondele High School. Today, I have looked for Kondele High School, Nyalenda High School in Kisumu na sijawahi kupata. So this is a perennial liar, a person who lied to achieve political ends. He's a great liar. But let him know that people who do not want to pay the toll will have an option of using alternative routes. And I also must tell Ndindi, even in our homes, we may have a good house. But if we want to build an even better one, we may take a loan to build it. You may have a car, but if you want to buy a newer and a better one, you may take a loan to do it. The fact that we have fuel levy to use to build roads. If we want to build a multi-lane road in a corridor the way he puts it, the fuel levy may not be enough. We may take a loan. Ndindi Nyoro, this one speaking, was an adult when Uhuru Kenyatta levied imported goods to pay for SGR, and he said nothing because Uhuru was his clansman. When it is President William Ruto who wants to build the road and levy Kenyans, he thinks there is something wrong with it. So, people like Ndindi Nyoro needs to know Kenya belongs to all of us, and we must all have equal opportunities of governing this country. Long time ago, before Ndindi Nyoro was born, or probably when he was still very young, and he could go to the toilet with his sweet in his hands and come back, continue eating it, we used to have toll stations on this very corridor on the Kenyan side. In Gilgil, we had one. In Londiani, we had another. On the way to Eldoret, we had another. Toll stations where you stop, pay, and go. And Ugandans were still using the same road. Congolese were still using the same road. From Mombasa, they would pay on the Kenyan side and not pay on the Ugandan side. Nobody talked about it. So if Ndindi Nyoro did not have content for this invitation he was called to speak, he should have avoided talking about Rironi Mau Summit Road. This is not the only thing that Kenyans are paying for, which is government. We are paying so many things, including the expressway. We are being told to use it. So the government can't provide everything for free unless it costs it nothing to provide it for free.
But he's arguing that since we are paying the road maintenance levy, and now again you're being told, it's a kind of double taxation.
That is what I have just told you. The road maintenance levy can maintain those small roads. Probably it can even build those other. But this one that will require so much money that we have to borrow, how will we pay the money we have borrowed when we are already paying other loans? So we cannot say that because we are paying taxes, everything we need can be funded by that tax. This Ndindi Nyoro, I want to ask him. When Uhuru Kenyatta was the president, we were paying that road maintenance levy. We were paying VAT, as he puts it. We were paying pay as you earn. How come Uhuru did not build the Rironi Mau Summit Road? How come Uhuru did not build it? How come Kibaki did not build it? Because it was too expensive. And President William Ruto has the wherewithal to try what others feared. And you see, he is now beginning to reclassify this road. Even the one that we are building to Nyeri, ordinarily would even go beyond Isiolo and even go to Ethiopia if they want to go. There is no road which ends only in Kenya. This idea of coming to tell us this is a corridor road, it goes beyond Kenya. All these other roads, even near Kajiado, it goes beyond Kajiado into Tanzania, into Mozambique and South Africa. So it is not only the Rironi Mau Summit that is a corridor road. It is not only the Rironi Mau Summit that is being tolled. We are also tolling in the expressway. This is not the first time Kenyans are paying taxes. So let's just say the truth. I told you the war against President William Ruto. Number one is ethnicity, ethnic dominance. Number two is legacy issues. These people cannot stand President William Ruto pulling giant, profound projects which his predecessors failed to do in their 10 years in power. And they also fear that these projects could be a source of resources for some people in government. Let them not fear. President William Ruto will be there for 10 years and will go and somebody else will come in. But if President William Ruto was going to be here for 10 years, that would be the best thing, because now we will compare President William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta, Mwai Kibaki, Gideon Moi, and Daniel Moi and Kenyatta one at par. How will we compare Ruto with the rest if it only takes 5 years? But they are already noticing that in his 5 years, He has already done things beyond what his predecessors did for 10 years. That is what is visible.
So you're saying this is a political war?
It is political. And that is why he was defending it in the very beginning. That it is not political, it is economical. It's not economic problem. This is political.
And why?
And I would like to know what suddenly changed between Ndindi Nyoro and President William Ruto. Because the greatest supporter of President William Ruto appeared to have been Ndindi Nyoro. Kumbe it was not. He just wanted to get elected in a party that the mountain had accepted. The mountain had rejected Raila Odinga, but accepted William Ruto. That is why it was William Ruto's problem. As soon as the mountain looked like they were not very happy with William Ruto, Ndindi Nyoro ran away from William Ruto without William Ruto offending him. If there is anything called betrayal, remind Rigathi Gachagua that he and Ndindi Nyoro is utmost betrayal.
And when you look at this, Mwalimu, because it's William Ruto who is in power, and a lot of political balkanization, especially against him, has been on the rise, Mwalimu.
It is on the rise, but there are many things you must know. Human beings, by their own nature, fear powerful beings. If you want to cause fear to a powerful to people, make the most powerful being their enemy. Then you can control them the way you want. For example, religion has been sustained by a powerful being called Satan. The fear of this Satan makes people go to church to pray so that God protects them from Satan. That is what has happened. If Satan was another ordinary human being you could spear or shoot with a gun, people would not fear him. And then people would not run to church to seek protection. Even in Kenya today, to make President William Ruto the enemy is to create great fear in people. And there is nothing that impedes judgment like emotional issues like fear, anger, love, and such things. You remember when Raila Odinga was the enemy of the mountain, you would drive in the mountain and you hear children playing and threatening each other, nitakuitia Raila. Mtoto akikataa kukula alikuwa anaambiwa nitakuitia Raila. That is, and not that Raila was so bad, that very Raila that they used to use to scare their children, finally they came back and embraced him because they wanted to reach a certain goal with him. That is the truth. So as it is now, the war against President William Ruto is sponsored by Uhuru Kenyatta and his clansmen. But let me tell them one more time. Kenya belongs to all of us, and we must share its resources equally, including leadership positions.
This Ndindi Nyoro, Mwalimu, he has been very vocal against. You remember during the Safaricom saga that was being debated by the National Assembly, he came out and said, the government will lose tremendously,
Ndindi Nyoro is just being tribal and he has always been one. He's just being ethnic and he has always been one. Not that during Kibaki, the privatization did not take place. In fact, the first part of the government share in Safaricom to be sold was sold by Kibaki. They said nothing about it. They did not oppose it. So it is ethnicity. If I say ethnicity, I know it is me who will be branded ethnic, but I am the one who is exposing ethnicity as exhibited by people like Ndindi Nyoro, people exhibited by people like Rigathi Gachagua and their king Uhuru Kenyatta. That is the truth. Yeah.
And now moving forward, because this thing seems to be emboldened each and every day, these sentiments, especially by leaders from the mountain against the current president, what should the current president be aware of?
First of all, if I go back a little bit, if Ndindi Nyoro was going to oppose what President William Ruto is doing, he should tell us the alternative way of doing it. This guy was the chair of budget committee just very recently. In his budget, can he tell us that there was some surplus that was enough to build the Rironi Mau Summit Road? using our taxes. He can give us a block budget of we collect this from the people of Kenya through those levies you are talking about. This amount is available to maintain the existing roads, to build the smaller roads in the countryside and the countryside. And this is what is left that we can use to build the Rironi-Mau Summit Road so that Kenyans can use it for free. That is all he needed to bring, because he seems to be a person who likes facts, figures, and logic. And we want his logic in the Kenyan budget that would be used to do this. But remember, when he was an adult and he was at the chair of budget committee, Kenya still took loans and he didn't say anything because he was still in government. Now that he is out, he's now telling us we cannot build road using loan, we cannot levy other people. And I want him to tomorrow go back to the press and tell the press his take on us being levied on the expressway. I want him to go back and tell us.
And let me ask you, Mwalimu, why is it that people always become so suddenly clever when they leave government?
They don't become clever, they become clever against that government. They suddenly know where the government is wrong. They are inherently selfish. When it serves them well, when it makes their day, they are happy with it. When they are out of it, they are seeing other people are the ones in it, they don't like it. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Mwalimu, for your insight. That has been a wonderful conversation with Mwalimu Oduor, a senior political analyst in the country. And this has been Red Media, and my name is Emmanuel Ouma. Until next time, good evening.